Good morning, dear student. Welcome in online classes of Buddha International School. Today, dear student, we are going to discuss about the causes of the revolt of 1857. As you know, in the first lecture, that was a kind of introduction of this chapter, in which we already have discussed about that how this revolt started, that it was a kind of result, product of accumulated grievances of Indian masses, because really they are in a condition which was very miserable for them. How continuously they are torturing by the Britishers, and they are not going to tolerate it for the long time, and finally they started opposing against the Britishers, which was a kind of result, it was a kind of a product that is known as the revolt of 1857. So dear student, in last lecture you know well that we have discussed about the different cause for the revolt of 1857. Out of those causes, one was the political causes. Already we discussed that the three main political reasons behind the revolt of 1857 were there. Number was the policy of doctrine of lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie in 1848. What was this policy? You know well. Again, I want to recall here that according to this policy, if any ruler is not having their natural heir, then their kingdom will automatically going to be the part of British territory. Means they are going to annex that kingdom into their British territory. So by this, Satara, Jaipur, Nagaur, Jhansi, that Nagpur, Jhansi, like many kingdoms are there, they automatically going to be the part of Britishers. Why? Because of the policy of doctrine of lapse. Next reason was there that you know well that whatever the imperial titles earlier the rulers and their upcoming successors they are using, that titles were also taken away by the Britishers, that simply announced and declared one through this act that now no other Indian princes and the rulers are there and their prince, they will not continue this imperial title. So this was also a kind of unrest among Indians, especially the local rulers are there like Bahadur Shah Jafar II. They are not happy. Why? Because their successors, they cannot use the title of prince and princess. And the third reason was there, that misgovernance. That just like Awadh, how on account of misgovernance, Awadh became the part of the Britishers. Actually, in Awadh, the government really working very smoothly. There is no any kind of misgovernance, but the Britishers on account of misgovernance, simply they are going to blame that yes, in Awadh the government is not able to work properly, and in this way the Awadh is also going to be become the part of the British East India, and the Awadh also annexed. So these all three were, and except also so many reasons were there. I know no need to tell you, well, because from chapter 1 to till now we are moving in chapter 7, that almost all the chapters you have noticed one thing, that how they are try to suppress, try to destroy, try to ruin Indians in the different way, by destroying our agricultural system, by handicraft system, our peasants also, then after tribals. So these all the accumulated grievances are there now. Finally, my dear student, that was a kind of result for this revolt, that was the revolt of 1857. So in the same series today we want to continue the causes of the revolt of 1857. First, political causes. I hope you understood the three. I repeated again now only. Next, that is social and religious causes. Social and religious causes means related to society as well as related to religion. That Britishers are there, they are unable to connect with the Indians. Socially also they are not connected. Means our societies are also somewhere they are having the unrest, they are not happy with the whatever the policies or reform they did for the upliftment of the Indian society, but actually they did good maybe, but Indians are not happy. Why? Because they are taking in another way, that somewhere they are doing, they are uplifting, they are reforming our society. It means somewhere that is also a kind of intention of the Britishers. Maybe they want to make us the Christian, maybe they want to destroy our religious sentiment as well as our culture and art also. So in this regard, socially Britishers, they are not able to connect with the Indians. And finally, some reforms like abolition of sati, widow remarriage, etc., taken in the favor of Indian society, but were seen as a threat to the Indian culture. You see, my dear student, in our country, especially at that time, the two social evils were there. That was one, widow remarriage, and another one is abolition of sati. So sati system was there, that was abolished by Lord William Bentinck. He was one of Britisher only, but he did really very nice job that he abolished sati, because earlier you know very well what is sati, that if women lost her husband, then she had to sit on funeral pyre by having the dead body of her husband. So simply at that time what happened, that so many women are there, they start becoming sati. So many of them by their own wish they are becoming sati, but after then it became a kind of trend that if a woman don't want to sit on funeral pyre, then people start forcing her that yes, you lost your husband and you have to sit with the dead body of your husband. So sometimes she have to burn alive. So it was a very big social evil, and this evil was abolished by Britishers. Then widow remarriage, suppose some women in early years they are going to lose their husband, their age is only 16 and 17. Now what a long life is there in front of those, that kind of women's. So now how they will survive, how they will live in such a long life without husband, very well. In our Indian society, if husband is there, then there is a kind of prestige and values there of a woman. If she lost her husband, then people start torturing in some or in other way, just like they are started blaming, they are not respecting her, and she is also considered just like, yes, that she always wants something bad for the family, as well as in village also sometimes, like in some of the districts of Rajasthan also still this kind of systems are there, which is known as Dakan Pratha is also there, especially to the widow women are known as like this. So my dear student, in our Indian society, these were a kind of social evils we can call. So Britishers, they really did well that they want to abolish this sati system and widow remarriage by passing the different act, that now the widow can also go for the remarriage, that they can go for the remarriage. Now sati system was abolished, but Indians, what they did, they have taken in another way, that if sati abolition is there, it means somewhere the intention, wrong intention, yeah, there is a kind of benefit in this of Britishers. Same for the widow remarriage also, that yes, this is a kind of Indian culture, that in Indian culture sati should be there. In Indian culture, widows are not allowed to go for the remarriage. So they have taken in another way, that if this abolition is there, it means the Britishers want to destroy our Indian culture and our religion. And it was a kind of we can say unrest among the Indian masses for this also, that they are not happy with this, that why they abolished sati system and why they started this widow remarriage. So you see, something they did in the favor of Indians, but taken in another way by the Indians. It was also a main cause which comes under the category of social and a religious cause. I hope you understood. Next, my dear student, the Christian missionaries, so many Britishers, they established here the Christian missionaries to give the kind of training to Christians, and especially they want to spread their Christianity among the Indians as well. So in this way they established so many Christian missionary, okay, and those Christian missionary, what they try to convert all the Indians into the Christians by offering them certain facilities and privileges. Obviously the Britishers they are the Christians only, so they definitely going to establish their Christian missionary, okay, a kind of missionary which is to teach the kind of Christian about the Christianity, about the Christian religion, that yes, more and more people should go through the Christianity. So what the Indians think, so that the missionaries are there, that they are only for this, that they want to change us, that we are right now Hindu, they want to make us Christian. And as a result, this was so somewhere, because the Britishers also want that if more and more Indians go with the Christianity, definitely then it will be easy for us to rule for the long time. Why? Because Christians, why they will oppose to Britishers? Because they are also Christian. So in this way, what happened, that so many Indians are there, they are not happy. Why? Because the Christian missionary are there, they are changing the religion of Indians, they are converting them from Hindu to Christian, and it was not good. Many of Indians, they don't want to go towards Christianity, and as a result they opposed to the Britishers. Third reason, my dear student, in the same social and religious cause, that is the Christian preachers spoke against the scriptures, and the Indian couldn't tolerate this, that whatever the Christians preachers are there, those are preaching this Christianity, they start speaking something wrong, some ill words towards the Indian and their art and culture. So as a result, Indians are not going to tolerate, and now also that we are also not going to tolerate. If someone is going to speak something wrong about our religion, why we tolerate it? So finally the same, my dear student, at the time also that Christian preachers are, they are going to speak something wrong, they started abusing towards the the religion of Indians, they are not going to tolerate it. This was also a cause which comes under the category of religious cause. And last, dissatisfaction among the Indian grew with the spread of Western education. About this Western education, we will go well in detail in the next chapter, started by Lord Macaulay. So Indians, Britishers, they want to change the education system also for India. And in this regard, the Lord Macaulay, he introduced a new system of education in India. Why? He wants to make the Indians that more and more Indians should be in the clerical job. And as a result, my dear student, this new education system was also that was also a reason behind the we can say revolt of 1857. Why? Because Indians are not satisfied with this new education system. What was the reason? The same, that in new education system it was compulsory for the Indians that they will they will taught into English only, they will speak English only. So the Indians, they are they are not familiar with the English, so they have taken in another way that if they want to teach us English, if it is compulsory for us to speak English, it means somewhere they want to change our religion, they want to make us from Indians to Christian. So we don't want to go with this new education system. So these all the factors are there they are a kind of we can say cause, and which is going to be result as a revolt of 1857. Okay, so this comes under the category of social and religious cause. So I hope you understood regarding the social and religious cause. Next, economic causes. Economic causes of revolt of 1857, same, my dear student, that somewhere related to our economy. In last chapter also we have discussed that how they destroyed our handicraft system. Okay, and because of that handicraft system, so many weavers, they lost their job and they became unemployed. They start moving here and there in search of job. Finally, what happened? This was a great loss to our economy also. Why? Because earlier in our economical system, the Indian handicraft playing a very important role. Okay, why? Because the import and export business was going on. If the business will go nicely, definitely the revenue will come in the favor of the government also. So the same now what happened, that due to the industrialization, almost all the handmade item replaced by the machine made cloth. Okay, and in this regard what happened, that weaver lost their job, and so many they start moving here and there in search of job. Finally there is a great loss to our Indian economy. Well, because recently we have discussed in last chapter, that was craft person and during the colonial period. Next, high custom duties were imposed. Well, because of high custom duty, the Indian craft persons, they are not going to export their material into the other countries. Why? Because the cost is 5 rupee and the tax is 10 rupees. Then why they will going to export this? And the Britishers also want the same, that it should not be exported in any other country of the world. Why? Because they want to run their own business, they want to destroy the Indian system. Same, the common people were dissatisfied as heavy taxes made their lives miserable. Yes, the common people, somehow they are living their livelihood by making the small kind of clay pots and many other small handicraft items. But because of this heavy custom duty, it was very difficult for the common man. Why? Because he had to pay the heavy duty that was more than the actual price of that item. So by this what happened, their life is going to become very miserable. This plight condition we can say of the common people, somewhere is the result of the revolt of 1857. So these all were the main cause that comes under the category of economic causes, where there is a great loss to our economy, and as a result they are not happy with the policies of Britishers. Next, my dear student, that is military cause. Related to military, that well, that so many soldiers are there in British troop. They are almost, we can say 90%, they are the Indians only. And in chapter number 3 and 4 you have seen that how Indians, they discriminated by the Britishers for the same rank. Even only the 3 Subedars were there till 1856. Almost they all are a common, we can say, like general duty given to them. They are not promoted, they are not given the high rank by the Britishers. Okay, and except this also they have faced so many discrimination by the Britishers. For example, if you talk about in terms of salary, so the salary of Indian soldiers was much lower for the same rank than their British counterpart. Suppose a British soldier is there and an Indian soldier, they both are soldier only, no special rank and post is there, but the British soldier is taking just double than the Indian soldier. Why? The rank is same, the post is same, but being an Indian, they have to suffer. They have to tolerate this, that yes, you are Indian, that's why your salary will be this only. If you want to continue, otherwise you can go. So this is what? This is a kind of discrimination only, my dear student. Next, the Indian soldier considered inferior to the Europeans wherever they are going for any kind of maybe in any battle, yeah, for any other regions, yeah, if any other maybe order is given, so first of all the first priority is given to the Europeans only, not to the Indians. Why? Because Indians are considered inferior and they are considered as superior. So automatically in their troop only the Indians are feeling so that we people are the inferior, only they are the superior. That's why they are very advanced and ahead than the Indian soldier. Next, third reason, the General Services Enlistment Act of 1856. Yes, my dear student, by this act one more new scheme started by the Britishers, that as this act was passed, the new recruits, the new recruitment and new soldiers, they wanna go with this the army of the Britishers, they have made them the serve anywhere in the empire, and this act also fanned the flames of anger against the British. I again want to explain this, that as per this new act that was introduced by the Britishers, that was General Service Enlistment Act of 1856. As per this act, my dear student, what happened, that if any new recruitment is there, that new recruited person or new recruited soldier, they have to serve in any part of the empire, means any part of that where the territory of the Britishers, they can be appointed there and they have to do their duty. For example, suppose if a person, if a soldier who belong to Jhunjhunu, okay, now you know very well, in India they can go in anywhere wherever they posted by the Indian Service Act, by the in that department they are working. For example, suppose you belong to Jhunjhunu and your posting is there maybe in Jaipur, yeah, in Ajmer, yeah, in any other district, but that district should be of Rajasthan only. But by this act, what the system was there, that they can be they can be appointed, they can send up into the other areas also. For example, suppose they want to go any other work is there, so they have to be posted there in the European countries, for example, just like in England also they have to serve. So this was a kind of new system, this was a kind of new act that was passed, and as per this new law, what was the system, that the Indian soldiers, they can serve, they have to go for the serving, they have to give their service in other parts of the world also. For example, if they want to send to any Indian soldier there in England, then the soldier have to go there, he have to serve there only. So in this regard, so many Indian soldiers are there, they are not happy, they are totally, we can say very angry, we can say, by this system. That why? Because if a local person and then he have to go there, how difficult and how painful it is. So these all the reasons behind there, that comes under the military cause. Then after the immediate cause, except the political, social and religious cause, then economic and military cause, the immediate cause was also there. Immediate cause means suddenly these all reasons were the responsible for this, because the this revolt was bound to happen, but suddenly what happened, that they are not going to hold it for the long, and finally this revolt started in 1857. So that comes under the category of immediate cause. So here, what was the immediate cause, my dear student? The immediate cause was there, that was Greece Carthages. Greece Carthages, this was the immediate cause. What happened? What was this Greece Carthages? I want to explain. Actually, what happened in 1856, the Indian soldiers were given infield rifles in place of brown base muskets. Earlier they are using, that rifle was there, that was brown base musket. It was a kind of simple rifle, we can say. But after then, in 1856, what happened? Those soldiers are there now in the British troop, they given a kind of modern weapon. And what was that? Royal Enfield. And which were simmered with the fat of cow and pig as a grease. And the paper that covered them had to be bitten off before they could be loaded into the rifle. So whatever the cartridges are there of this Royal Enfield, this was simmered with the fat of cow and pig. And when they want to load this cartridge into their rifle, they have to tear that paper which was covered to that cartridges by their mouth. They have to bite that paper by their mouth. And both the soldiers, the Hindu and Muslim, they are there in the British troop, so they don't want to bite this paper by their mouth. Why? Because somewhere there was a kind of grease, there is a kind of oil which was wrapped to that paper, okay, so that the rifle and the cartridges, they are not going to be rust. So in this regard, that fat was there, and that was the fat of cow and pig. And you know very well, my dear student, in our Hindu religion, cow is considered as a goddess as well as the mother of Hindus. The same, my dear student, pig is also considered The same kind of place is there in Islam also. In the Muslim people are, they are going to call the pig as the same, just like the same place is there of the cow in our Hinduism. So both the soldiers, they are not happy. They don't want to open, they don't want to bite that paper. That paper was greased and somewhere wrapped with the fat of cow and a pig. And the Britishers forced to the Indian soldiers that you have to bite with your mouth only. Why? Because they want to somewhere they want to offend they want to destroy, they want to give us a kind of shock that yes, we want to destroy your religious sentiments also. But the Indians and Muslim soldiers, they feel so, and they realize it that somewhere this is a kind of the use of this grease cartridges is the offended of their religious and the we can say sentiment. And both the Hindu and Muslim sepoy, they we can say annoyed, they refused to use this the cartridges those were given by the Britishers to the Indian soldiers. Finally what happened, the British forced to the Indian soldiers that you have to use this, and as a result what happened, that the Mangal Pandey from Barakpur, blew the bugle of the revolt on 29 March 1857. So Mangal Pandey, he was one of the soldier, and finally he refused to use these grease cartridges. Even the Britishers are forcing, and then he started the revolt by 29 March 1857. So Mangal Pandey, my dear student, he was the first soldier to start this revolt from Barakpur on 29 March 1857. It's a very important question, that name the soldier. Yeah, who was the first soldier to start the revolt of 1857? Yeah, who was the first soldier to blew the bugle of the revolt of 1857? That was the Mangal Pandey from Barakpur. The reason was, the same grease cartridge was the main and immediate reason. Right? Because Mangal Pandey totally refused to use this grease cartridges, which was somewhere, wrapped with the grease of, with the fat of cow and pig. After then, my dear student, the revolt started from Barakpur by Mangal Pandey. Then some other soldiers also, okay, they also started and they joined this revolt. He shoot two British officials. Who? Mangal Pandey first shoot two British officials, and then the telegraph office of Britishers was also burnt down by Mangal Pandey. Then on 9 May 1857, 90 Sepoy, means 90 soldiers, they stand at Meerut also. They also refused to use the grease cartridges. Out of 90, my dear student, 85 arrested by the Britishers and imprisoned for the 10 years. So you see that first from Barakpur, then after from Meerut also started. Finally, this revolt, not only started in Barakpur and in Meerut, in other parts of the countries also, just like Awadh, Rohilkhand, Dohab, Bundelkhand, and many parts we can say of the Bihar and Bengal started. And here now this, who is leading this revolt? That was under the banner of, Bahadur Shah Jafar II, who was the last Mughal emperor. He was the leader of this revolt, and under the leadership of Bahadur Shah Jafar, this revolt spread in the many parts of the India, and almost they all are against the British East India Company and against Britishers. Now doubt so many Indian prince as well as so many states of India are there, just like Nabha, Jaipur, and many are there. They are very loyal till now. They are not actively going to take the part in this revolt, but even so many states of India are there, and many parts of the India are there. They are totally against the British system. They started and they revolted against the Britishers. So my dear student, this was that regarding this different causes of the revolt, be it political, social and religious, then after economic, military causes, and the immediate cause that the grease cartridges were the immediate cause of the revolt of 1857, and how finally by the leadership of Bahadur Shah Jafar II, this revolt started in the different parts of our country India. So in the next lecture we will discuss about that what was the impact and how this revolt is going to be success or not. Today we have discussed about all the causes of the revolt of 1857. I hope you understood. Even any doubt and queries there, you can discuss with me. Thank you. Have a nice day.